14 hacks to make sure you got the best crypto. This one's mooning. Hop on. You know what? Maybe you're not doing this whole crypto thing wrong the way you're doing it. Welcome back to the show where we build financial power. My name is Matt, and this is
Potter.
If you're new to this here channel, every Thursday, Friday, we pop out a show, typically 10 Eastern, and we talk about this trippy world of DeFi and all things related to financial power. Yeah, some people call it financial freedom, but we believe that there's something just beyond financial freedom where you can build power to build even more freedom, impact, and all that fun stuff. Today, we want to talk about the process that's ultimately subjective, but it's important to you. Are you doing this thing right or wrong? So, Potter, before we dive all the way into it, how you feeling? How you doing?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're live.
We are
listed public.
We are. I just put us public.
And because I don't see the Twitch thing in there. That's the only reason I was asking.
I'll go in there. You go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so, Matt and I, we got to talking about the different positions. Like he was saying, oh, come on in, here's a new position. Here's a new position. You can literally get them every hour. And so Matt and I was talking yesterday, and I was like, hey, Matt, here's something. And Matt, what were you thinking when I said, like you get those messages, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like what goes through your head?
It was like such an immediate no. It was such an immediate no. Like I think I clicked on the link, looked at it, and I was like, oh, look, this looks like, some goblins and shit. And I was like, immediately, no. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, all of these projects are startups, without a doubt. It's startups. It's a wild, wild west of crypto. It's a lot of trust in a trustless system. And I, without a doubt, 100% trust Potter. I'd never believe that she would send me a project nefarious. So it'd be like, let's get the bonus. Let's get the referral bonus. Never in a lifetime. But it's more up here. And if you've ever watch this show, we talk about that concept. It's not just hey, what's the best project out there, and this is a link. No offense to anybody that does that. That's just not our style,
right? And going back to my own experience, I did the same thing, but part of I'm not sure it's related to what, right? So
right. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it's related to fatigue. I don't know if it's my acumen with risk, right? So like in college, they made TWA, I think it was. They were going to do this. I think it was like, it's our last chance to survive. So they gave away $100 trips to Paris. I didn't have $100, but I found $100 and I went with my ex to Paris, right? And when we got there, we wrote a check, and no, we had a credit card, and the credit card didn't work to pay the hotel bill. Oh, thank God for parents, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, maybe it's when I moved away from Florida to New York to go for no job, right? I told my parents I had a job because they wouldn't let me go otherwise. Yeah. But then, I go to college, then I decide whether it's the music business or the internet, what's the internet, right? Or whether I'm a programmer, if it's like, I don't want to do programming anymore. I want to go back to cybersecurity. I want to learn something new, cybersecurity, that's never going to work. Right. Or if I say, you know what, cybersecurity is so hot, I think I want to go back to dev. Everybody wants cybersecurity. So I don't know if it's just my moving around, but with each of those decisions, I always made like serious analysis, right? Including like what I sent you yesterday, right? So without, plugging anyone, it's the makers of Thorium who created Libera and Libera. And when they made Thorium and Epic Hero, and I forget this other one that they made, it was literally horrible. I mean, it was gross to look at. It was, did I go away or did he go away? Hey guys, it's just me. So this is new. Oh, okay. He told me to keep going. All right. So you go into the site. You know what? Maybe I'll bring it up because I don't want to be on screen that big. But I don't also want to show my wallet. Let's log out. And then we'll go to share screen, window, Libera. Let's just go here. An app. All right. And where are you? Oh, you're back?
Yeah, I figured I'd just make it interesting on you. That was kind of
Well, I didn't do anything.
Keep going.
So, crap.
I threw off your vibe.
Yeah. So, well, I can't take that back. But so this is the site. Like they make all kinds of stuff, but when they started, like they had all of this. I'm trying to see if I can find anything. They look like this. Like
Got
who
it.
was, that looks okay, right? But does that look okay?
Looks like a pop-up ad.
Like, yeah. So nobody was staying around. So they were all of these things, and none of them were good, but they had the most complete part of the play, which was simply they didn't quit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So let me unshare. So the makers underneath, the developers really did they got in when it was just exchanges and you could just create pairs and you make money off of people swapping pairs. And then they tried tokenomics and they failed. And then they tried their version 2. Their version 2 was so impressive that Forex in his releases, he started talking about, well, these guys aren't doing it right. But I'm going to take their that's a little bit of a Forex impression, by the way. Keep your notes stuffed up a little bit.
Right.
And he said that they were going to take some of what they learned because they did have some good stuff in it. So I was like, oh, so Forex gave them thumbs up. Okay, I'll pay attention to them a little more.
Right.
So when they released this new product, Libero and Flibero and Libera, first it was Flibero, and it was just like, only thing it was nothing but debasing, right? That was a new fad, right? But the thing I never understood, sidetrack, about debasing was the Romans literally debased their coin, and that's why they went down. Like, how is that good in crypto? But anyway, and they saw eventually that their debasing was a failure. So they came out with this new Libra idea, and that was still based off debasing, but it was a little bit different. It was a little bit flashier, but they still had the horrible UI, right? And so that's when I introduced you to them. And you were like, what is this crap? And I'm like, dude, I don't know, but I'm telling you. And I told you the story, and you were like, I still think this UI is horrible, but it's you. So yeah, I'll give it a little play. And when all of the plays, I always say, look at them as a gas can, not as a retirement plan. Right. And so, that's what we did. And so initially I was like, oh man, this is working. And then it started to fall apart. But now we go back to why I got into them the first time. Their first one's a horrible failure. The second one was almost better. The third one, still not there, but you guys are getting there, right? So what I sent to you yesterday was their version 3 of their try at doing all of this stuff. Now, because of Libra, they perfected miners, and not perfected. They understand how to work miners. They understand how to work the LP farm. They understand how to do rebasing. So they're offering all of these different things that creates buy pressure.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's working. The numbers just show that it's working. So now the one that I sent you.
Keep going.
Okay. The one that I sent you was a bit of a stretch. It was more of a leap. Right. But they had this link that said free. So I was like, okay. Right. And it's not me saying it's free.
Right.
But one of your retorts was, it's not free. And I'm saying, oh, that's fair.
Nothing's free.
And this morning when I went in to go take a look at it, I went to go try to compound. was like, it gave me an error. Like it tried to, when you're doing something wrong in crypto, your wallet will try to charge you more than you have in your wallet.
Yeah.
So I looked at it and I was like, aha, well, there you go, Matt. You're right. It's not free. But then I looked at it and it had a 5-day pause on it. And I'm like, that's smart. You give people a very, very small amount of BNB, and you are going to make that back from just the fees. So you're not giving anything away. I like the way these guys think.
Yeah.
Right. But the reason why I said, hey, let's have a show about it is because it's a real thing.
Yeah.
People like Scott, the guy who got us in. Scott has no appetite for this stuff anymore. But then again, he's a made man now. Right.
Yeah.
But how about some of the other people that we've talked to? I've said, hey, you want to do this? Oh, no, all of this is risky. Yeah. But now I understand. You're saying, hey, it was about the clunky, stupid looking UI. No disrespect to me.
Yeah, no. I mean, so I believe there's subjective and objective reasons people should or shouldn't get into a project or get into stocks or get into crypto or get into real estate, or when it comes to financial power, because everybody has a certain stomach for it. I look at it almost like a job, like you tell somebody like, oh, I could never be a cop because of the risk they do every day. I can never go in the military because you can get shot at. I can never be in healthcare because I can't see blood. That type of concept. Certain people have certain limits and they know that, whether they've made that up, whether they, really can get through it, or whether they just don't want to deal with it. So the way I view it is, I know you asked the question back to me, like, let's do a show on this, because I knew you were like, how the hell does this make any sense in any realm of possibility in his brain? Because in Potter's brain, it makes complete sense. What I truly believe is that you do have such a technical analysis to understand and see a macro picture. Even though I've been doing this for 8 months, I still don't truly have that deep meaning. I don't have that true understanding because I don't have that technical analysis. So you're light years ahead, even past just, what we'll call it a year and a half deep into crypto. You're light years ahead of that because of your background, your history and understanding. So for me, I'm still trying to figure out if this game is complete bullshit or not. I'm trying to see if crypto as a whole, or DeFi at least, is crap. I do believe in the technology as a whole. So there's a certain level of lack of technical analysis. There's a certain level of it's the wild, wild west. I understand there's risk with anything, but then there's also subjective. This is only me and you listening. You can only apply this to yourself. How much is your risk tolerance? And when I say your risk tolerance, I don't mean I only have this much money. What I mean is, yes, that. How much are you willing to risk? Which you should never over leverage yourself. But I think that a lot of people forget that a project might be free or it might be cash back in 3 days. The point is, how much emotional risk tolerance do you have the batteries for? Do you have the energy for? Because when you have been in a few projects and you're like, son of a mother, it went to zero, and I see this one project. If I can just start pumping a little bit of money in, just at a time, just a little bit of money, that one for sure I believe in. That one I sort of trust and it makes sense. So why am I not putting the attention to it? While I also understand the need for diversification. That diversification gives you the ability to feed that one thing that you believe in over there. There is a culmination brewing pot mixture. I feel like Salem's witch over here, just stirring all of the things that swirl in the brain. And then you add on top of that the FUD, and then the market, and then everybody's bleeding and all that. And whether you want to admit it or not, seasoned vet or not, the emotions are still going to be there. I had a friend reach out to me whenever the AMC stock craze was going on. He's like, dude, AMC's going to the moon, man. Holy crap. And sure enough, it did. He was like, you need to hop on this. I've never been into picking individual stocks. Never. I just because I know my attention span. Like if I didn't have anything I was working on.
That's why I laughed.
Yeah. If I didn't have anything I was working on, like if I just worked a 9 to 5 and that was it, sure, I probably should be putting my effort into something other than just, a day job. But
I thought your camera moved. I was like, I've never seen that blue thing.
Moving. It's crushing me.
Okay.
Come on.
I did it when I talked about my camera. Your camera got jealous.
It did. It started just moving around.
I want to move, Dad.
Moving around like a unicycle. But you listening, I hope you hear that, you know, you can jump on the FOMO bandwagon. You can jump on, oh my gosh, AMC is going to the moon. And, you know, like I didn't do that. I knew for myself, that is not the play for me. Like it's just how it's always been. That same friend actually reached out to me this week and was like, hey, you know, housing market. And I'm getting to a point here. He's like, you know, the housing market, all that, like I'm sitting on this house and I can't figure out if I should sell it or not. You know, like and like truly wrestling with that thought of like,
are you talking about you right now?
No, a friend of mine,
Okay.
the same friend that was like, you got to get on this AMC thing. He made good money doing it. He was like, I'm like really battling with the decision of selling my house. And like his house is appreciated, mine is appreciated. But he was like, you know, what do you think? I've been in my house longer. And if we sold it right now, we could make some money. The question is, where are you going to go right now that you're not paying more? So I understand that logic. I understand, yeah, we built equity in the house and all that, but he can't get past that. He's like, I am going to miss out on X thousands of dollars. So how I have that illogical look at AMC and jumping in that stock, and he's like, how the hell would you not do that? It's the exact opposite for me. I'm in this house and I'm like, dude, no, it's not the move. It's not the move. Like if I could move somewhere else, sure, I'd sell it. So I say all that to say it's a comparison of one person sees complete logic in one thing and then illogic in something else. And then that other person sees the exact opposite. It's subjective is where you're at.
Right. Well, let me throw something in the mix because we're having a combo. So you have people who are standing on the street going, Tesla to the moon.
Yeah.
No idea about electric cars. No idea about the regulation. But they were right.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have the people who are like, well, technically, if you take a look at this and you look at the purchase, you look at the supply chain, you look at the way the convergence, you look at the price of gas, you look at the economics of the company, you look at the companies that he's put together. It's a win. They were right too.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you factor that in, you know, with that equation? Because he is the person, and I know a lot of people like that too, are just like, I got to do it now. It's like, you don't need to do it now. Right. But I don't think that saying, hey, you need to go all in on AMC. Like if you had $100 that you could spare, how much can $100 get me?
Yeah.
Okay. I made $3 off that whole thing.
Yeah.
But at least I tested my ability to take risk. Now you're already doing that, right? You're in crypto. Like this is not you. Right. And so the other thing I want to just be clear on too is about you are a professional nurse. You help people live through crisis, right? You're a physical trainer. You know what I mean? You're a successful person. You don't need crypto to get you there, right? But one of the things that you said this year was, hey, I want to build financial power. You didn't say, I want to build financial power by whatever means necessary. You know? So I like that you push back. The only thing that I would have said was because it's hard. Look at us. We're having a conversation in front of people. It's hard telling you this stuff.
For sure.
Because I get rejected.
Of course. Right?
And I'm like, so when I go to you and I give you something, it's because I've done a lot of research. There's other stuff I don't even bring up to you.
I know.
Right? I'm like, there's no way he's going to go. No. And one of them was a play that's like doubled. Right? I just felt like Joe, which is on Avalanche, everything about it works. They got all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. They just don't have, nobody knows necessarily about them. So when they went from, when I initially saw them go up under $1, I was like, you got to be kidding. And then I saw it, possibly going down. So I got out of it. And then I got back in the position at 20 something cents. Right. And it's doubled. Right. So, but I'm still not back where I was, where the position was, but I'll be over that when the position gets back to where it was.
Yeah.
But those are positions I was like, I can't explain all that to him because again, but how do you know? I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that. And at the same time, one of my things is it always has to add passive income to it.
Yeah.
Right. So when I gave you that play, I was like, dude, this is either going to go nowhere or it'll be something, but you click on it and it's free. I clicked on it. I saw BNB there. I see that it's compounding. When it got to the 24 hours, though, I didn't do enough research to see that it was 5 days, not 24 hours. I was like, okay. So I want to see the way it's going to work. I don't know if they've decided that they're going to have a miner that says deposit and it's like BUSD paycheck, right? You can't compound for 5 days, right? Or not, but they still gave free away, and it's gone today.
Well, and here's the other thing too, and all of this entire show is to highlight the topic of maybe you're not doing it wrong. Like maybe for you, maybe you're doing it the correct way for you. Maybe it's the speed you're at. Maybe you have more technical analysis. Maybe you don't have any analysis. Maybe you don't have the stomach to be in this, and that's okay. That is okay. Like I have friends that love it, picking individual stocks. I can't. I'm just like, as of right now, where I'm at in my life, that's not something I'm going to do. This is not something I'm going to do. Maybe I'm going to miss out on money. So it's not something I'm going to do. But as far as the actual projects themselves, if you get into these projects, you need to understand how they work. Yeah, and there's a certain level of you have to get in them to understand how they work. But there have been a few projects that I've gotten into that I'm looking at, and I'm like, I still don't understand what the hell's going on. And I think
you're talking about in crypto, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Matt, let me ask you this question then.
Yes.
Do you think that there's any way to get to that level that you want to get the way you're doing it, right? Are you seeing a return or is inflation outpacing your gains?
I think that there's still an unknown. There's so much of a question in my head still of, is crypto complete crap? Like there's still in the DeFi space. If that makes so, when that big question is still unanswered after 8 months, and I'm like, that's not like a screw crypto. Like it takes time to be in it, to understand it, to feel it. Until that question is sort of put to bed, I think it's going to be real difficult to have. There's a certain level of trust that you have to have, I think, to be successful in anything, in anything. So
yeah, and that was one. I'm glad you literally said that, because it was trust. That was one of the core components of everything that you were saying. It's like, I don't have trust. And so I promise you, I would not have left my job, to do something that was going to be, oh boy, this will be 5 months of fun. You know what I mean? Or a year of fun, or 2 years of fun.
Yeah.
My analysis showed that there's big money that plans on making big money from this. My experience is, I know some of the developers who are making it happen, not personally, but by observation, and it's just continuing to grow. One of the bonuses that you have is that you get to see the beautiful top, and you get to experience the harshest bear market in 50 years.
Which is a good thing.
It's a great, great, great thing, because a lot of your or anyone's lack of trust is because you don't have the experience with trust.
For sure.
Right? And you never had time. Like the moment that it went moon, you were like, everybody come in, hurry, I got to show you this. And they all came in, they're like, what? Hey guys, maybe it was a little bit too soon, right? But that's part of the maturation of investing, right? You have to say, I don't want people to think I'm leaving you out, but sometimes it's too soon, right, to bring you in, right? Because I could get you guys wrecked, and I'm okay for wrecking me. So that is literally what I do for positions with when I reach out to you. Like I promise you, I would not like go yada yada. So maybe, and if this is somebody like who's watching this, and you have a friend who's like giving you that, I think that the right question is to say, okay, I'll do an assessment. Tell me more about it. Right? Not just, no, that looks like crap. Right? Because you can go to a really crappy hole in the wall restaurant that serves some of the best food.
Absolutely.
Right? And you go in and you hear them yelling in the background, their employees, or they just don't know how to do stuff right, and that's the reason they're a failure. It's not the food.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you yourself, if you're if you're getting sent something by your friend and colleague, and your immediate answer is no, it's more of like, I mean, you barely looked at the UI and like you're just like no. It's very much less of the project and more of what's going on in the risk tolerance in your head for whatever reason that may be. If it's stuff outside of crypto and in your life, or if it's stuff with this and that, like my friend said this to me when we were talking about the real estate and man, I want to sell my house and all that. I said, what's your biggest fear of not selling this house? He's like, I feel like I'm missing an opportunity. He's like, I'm missing an opportunity. I was like, understood. Got it. Tell me something. How old are you?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm in my early 20s. I don't want to say his age. He's like, I'm in my early 20s. I was like, exactly. Like, this is our first recession you and I have been through as adults. Like, you think this is the only opportunity. It's not the case. So it's perspective. It's without a doubt how he was sort of on the ledge. Holy crap, how I'm going to miss. So at the end of the day, like we've both said a billion times, you should never make decisions out of fear. You should never make decisions out of from a negative place. But do understanding the capacity of, if you hop in this project and it's one more thing to learn, one more thing to stick to, are you going to be up at 2 a.m. being like, why did I do this? And only you know that answer.
Right.
So risk tolerance from numerous angles, not just the financial part.
I never thought about that before, but maybe we should say, if you're in your 20s, you should look at DeFi a whole lot different than if you're in your, 50s or 60s, right? Like, you probably already got the capital to play if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, right? If you're in your 20s or 30s, you can really speculate and go longer on a play.
Yeah.
Right, to understand it. So, yeah, you don't have gray area. There's no need to go crazy all in, right? Because that, even if you get, like I was a multimillionaire, like early 30s, right? Boy, I remember going, my God, football players have this like 21. There's no way I would make good choices, and I didn't even make good choices in my early 30s, right? So it's smart. That was really great advice that you gave him. Like, no FOMO. What are you talking about? Miss out on what? Now, with that being said, maybe he gets hit by a car tomorrow, God forbid. But
there you go. Exactly.
So that's what. And going. Let me reverse that real quick. Just telling somebody, hey, I made you a millionaire. That's great. They go out to check their mail. They get hit by a bus.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because you told them to go check.
There's always,
they bought the email. They bought the box with the money you gave them. Something like that. There's no guarantees for anything. Sorry, man.
No. It's you're spot on. So my friend that sold the house and all that, like, let's just say he sold it, makes money. Holy crap. You're right. He could walk outside next week because he lived in a different part of town because he bought an apartment over here and gets hit by. But you're 100% right. There's always perspective. There's always perspective.
Yeah. So
and
like you said, it's their risk. It's personal.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like even if you own a business. So when I worked for Ernst & Young, right, their tolerance for risk was a lot less than a non-traditional auditing client because they couldn't take the risks. So it transcends from business to personal. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and I'll tell you this last thing, and we'll get out of here.
Sure.
What I'm learning in my head is there are much more lucrative opportunities out there. I mean, you could say real estate, you could say sales of whatever. There's all sorts of opportunities. What do you want to be focusing on? Contractors in the military make a lot of money. They can go to different countries and whatnot, and what they make.
They really do.
Money. Do you want to strap up and go in the military and risk your life for your country and all that?
Bullets do go like that.
Some people do. Some people want that. Some people don't. And I think it's the same correlation. Some people just want to chill and have a 9-to-5, which is not wrong. It's what they want. So figuring out what you want. That's it.
Well said, kind sir.
Well, thank you.
This is a great show. I'm so glad you said no.
Raw emotion. Well, people, if you're feeling squirrely, slide back Thursday, Friday, 10 Eastern. We pop a show out every week. If you're feeling squirrely, slide on by. Drop a comment. Let us know. Do you think we're absolute crap? Do you think we're good? Drop it down below. None of this is financial advice. It's just our process. We're just documenting our process. Potter, you got anything in closing?
No, we said enough.
I think we've said quite a bit. Builders, keep building.
Game on.